Okay, I want to start with a little visualization
Yeah.
exercise. I want you to picture, in your mind's eye, a modern luxury vehicle. Just, visualize it.
Mm,
Sleek lines, comfortable leather, maybe that ambient lighting on the dashboard. You got it.
got it. Yeah.
Now, picture an F-35 fighter jet, or even a Boeing 787 Dreamliner. Massive, high-tech, millions and millions of dollars. Here's the question. Which one of those? Which one do you think is more complex, purely from a software perspective?
I mean, it feels like a setup, but my gut just screams the jet. It has to be. It flies, it has weapon systems, it has to keep people alive at 30,000 feet. It's got to be the jet.
Now, that is what I thought too, 100%. But here is the statistic that completely, well, it derailed my morning while I was prepping for this. A modern luxury vehicle contains over 100 million lines of code.
100 million.
Yes. And just for context, an F-35 fighter jet, that's about 24 million. A Boeing 787, way less than the car. We're literally driving around in supercomputers that just happen to have wheels.
That is, that's staggering when you put it that way. It completely reframes the entire object.
It really does. But, and here's the tension we're going to unpack today. When we think about the people responsible for fixing these ruling supercomputers, what's the image that pops into your head? Be honest.
It's the grease monkey, isn't it? Even knowing what you just told me, we still have this, like, mental snapshot from 1985.
Totally.
A dimly lit garage, oil-stained overalls, a wrench, maybe a rag in the back pocket. We see it as blue-collar manual labor, or, let's be really honest here, a fallback plan for the kids who didn't get into a good college.
Exactly. And that gap between the reality of the machine and our perception of the job is the root of a massive economic crisis. We're looking at sources today, specifically a deep report by Charles Gosman from smarterwaytoapply.com that suggests the industry is short nearly 1 million technicians over the next few years.
A million.
And my big takeaway from reading this, the shortage isn't because the job is bad. It's because we are looking at it all wrong.
We really are. The reality check here is that today's technician isn't a mechanic in the traditional sense. They're systems engineers. They're managing a mobile data center. But nobody tells high schoolers that.
So our mission today is to see if we can completely flip the script on this.
Yeah.
We're going to look at the economic showdown between the trade and a 4-year degree. We're going to talk about why this job is weirdly AI-proof, which is a huge topic right now.
Oh, huge.
And we're going to figure out how to win the hearts and minds of Gen Z, who apparently want to travel the world, but don't realize this trade might be the best way to do it.
It's all about reframing the narrative from, like, local drudgery to global freedom.
Let's start with the money, because I feel like the biggest barrier to the trades is this deep-seated idea that you're signing up for a life of struggling. We've had this college-for-all mentality pushed on us for, 30 years?
It has. And look, I'm not anti-college, not at all. The traditional path is well-worn for a reason. You go to university for 4 years. But let's look at the cost of entry, honestly. You're coming out with anywhere from $40,000 to, $120,000 in debt.
Which is just crippling for a lot of people starting out.
It is. But the debt isn't even the biggest cost. The biggest cost is the 4 years of lost earning potential. You're in the red, and you're staying out of the workforce during your prime energy years.
Okay, so what's the contrast versus the trade path?
The trade path is a completely different economic model. The cost of entry is often $0 to maybe $15,000, and frequently the employer pays for it.
Wow.
But the magic variable here, and this is a term we need to get comfortable with, is time arbitrage.
Time arbitrage. That sounds like something a hedge fund manager would say. Break that down for us.
It basically means using time to your advantage to compound wealth. A technician starts earning at age 18 or 19. They are hitting the workforce immediately, often through paid apprenticeships. By the time their peer graduates from college at 22 or 23, the technician has already been earning, saving, and investing for 4 full years.
But is the difference really that significant? I mean, sure, they have a 4-year head start, but doesn't the college grad catch up pretty quickly with a higher salary?
Well, that's the common assumption. But the math in the report is, it's surprising. One analysis suggests a tradesperson can earn over $200,000 total in just those 4 years.
200,000.
In the years where their peer is just sitting in a classroom accumulating interest on their loans.
Wait, hold on. 200 grand. That sounds like a best case scenario number.
Hmm.
Are we talking about the top 1% of mechanics here, or is that actually achievable for a normal kid?
It's more achievable than you'd think. Remember, they aren't paying tuition. They are living on a salary. If they live modestly, that money accumulates. I mean, 50,000 a year for 4 years is 200,000 gross. Even after taxes, if they invest a chunk of that, that's a house down payment. That's a compounding investment portfolio started at age 19.
So by the time the college grad gets their first real job at 23, they were starting at zero. Actually, they're starting below zero because of the debt.
Way below zero.
And the technician has potentially a $250,000 head start.
Exactly. And then we have to debunk the salary myth. There's this assumption that the ceiling in the trades is low. Like, sure, you start early, but you cap out at 60K.
Right, that's the stereotype. You hit a wall.
But the data shows that experienced master techs, the ones who can actually handle that 100 million lines of code we talked about, are earning $80,000, $100,000 plus.
There was that specific example from Ford in the source material that really stuck out to me.
The CEO of Ford, yeah. He noted they had 5,000 mechanic jobs go unfilled. And I want to be clear. These weren't minimum wage oil change gigs. These were positions offering six-figure wages.
Okay, so I have to play devil's advocate here. If the money's there and the head start is there, why aren't kids taking it? Like, if you told me at 18 I could make six figures and have zero debt, I feel like I would have signed up yesterday. So why are the bays empty?
That is the million-dollar question. If the economics make sense, the problem has to be cultural. It has to be about lifestyle, status, and perceived security. And actually, that leads us right into the second big tension in the report, the rise of AI.
Oh, this is the part that I think really flips the entire script. Because right now, everyone I know in marketing or coding or data entry is quietly freaking out about ChatGPT and LLMs.
And with good reason. We're seeing this recall to the office for white-collar workers because bosses want to monitor productivity. At the same time, entry-level coding and data jobs are getting saturated by AI. The safe desk job is suddenly feeling very, very risky.
It's incredibly ironic, isn't it? Our parents told us, don't get your hands dirty, go work with computers so you'll be safe.
Yeah.
And now the computer's coming for the computer job.
Precisely. Now, the trade offers what we call AI resistance through something called hardware protection.
Hardware protection. I like that term. What does it actually mean in practice?
It means you cannot fix a physical machine purely with software. You can't ask an AI to replace a sensor deep inside a chassis. You can't ask ChatGPT to diagnose a rattle that only happens at 60 miles per hour in the rain.
Right.
It requires dexterity, physical presence, and real-world problem solving.
So it's a moat.
It's a massive moat. I mean, think about it. You cannot repair a car in Ohio from a desk in India. It is literally unoutsourceable. As long as machines break, and they always will, usually more often as they get more complex, humans must physically be there to fix them.
Wow.
That offers a level of job security that, finance or law can no longer guarantee for their entry-level workers.
That is a wild thought. The risky manual labor job is now the safe haven. But let's pivot to the lifestyle argument. Because even if the job is safe and pays well, if Gen Z thinks it means being stuck in one town forever, they're not going to do it.
You're absolutely right. The sources talk a lot about Gen Z's priorities, and the report from Smarter Way to Apply highlights that 70% of Gen Z lists freedom to travel as a top priority. They don't want to be tethered. They want to be digital nomads.
But you can't really be a digital nomad if you have to physically fix a car. You have to be at the shop. So isn't that a deal breaker?
It seems like one, but the expert view is to reframe it. You can be a mechanical nomad. This leads to the global passport concept.
How does that work?
Think about the standardization of vehicles. A Ford F-150 in the United States is mechanically and electronically almost identical to one in Australia or the UK. The technical protocols, they're universal language.
When you say protocols, are we talking about the code again?
Yes, specifically things like the CAN bus system.
Okay, pause. CAN bus. I hear that term thrown around by car people, but break it down for the non-engineer. What exactly is that?
Well, think of the CAN bus as the car's central nervous system. It's a communication standard that lets the brakes talk to the engine and the engine talk to the dashboard without a million wires connecting every single thing directly.
So it's a standard language.
It's a standard language for all the vehicle's components.
And that language is the same everywhere.
Exactly. The code for that nervous system is basically the same in a Ford in Detroit as it is in a Toyota in Tokyo. The high-voltage architectures for EVs. Standardized globally. So if you learn the system here, you literally know the system everywhere.
So it's like learning C++ or Python. It works in every country.
It's even better because countries are desperate for this talent. Automotive technicians are on priority migration lists for desirable countries like the UK, Canada, and Australia.
Wait, really? So you're saying instead of getting a business degree and hoping to get a visa, which is really hard,
Hmm.
you can get a Master Tech certification and basically fast-track your way into living in Sydney or London.
Precisely. Governments are saying, we have a shortage. If you can fix these cars, come on in. The pitch to Gen Z shouldn't be, work in this town forever. It should be, this isn't just a job. It's a ticket to see the world 4 to 6 years faster than your college peers.
That is such a stronger hook.
Yeah.
The ultimate global passport. While your friends are paying off debt and trying to get an entry-level email job, you could be fixing Teslas in Melbourne.
And getting paid a premium to do it.
Okay, so we have built a pretty compelling case here. We have the economic argument, time arbitrage, high wages.
Right.
We have the security argument, hardware protection against AI. And we have the lifestyle argument, global portability. But let's be real, the bays are still empty. We still have to get a 17-year-old to sign the paper.
And that is the hardest part, because we have to bridge what the report calls the identity gap.
The identity gap.
It's not a skills gap. Kids are smart enough. It's that they don't see themselves in the role because the branding is, frankly, terrible. They don't want to be the grease monkey. Charles Gosman's research outlines a 4-pillar framework, actually 5 if we count the sustainability angle, to fix this.
Let's walk through these. I want to get into the weeds here. If I'm a shop owner or a trade school recruiter or even a parent listening to this, what do I actually change?
Okay. Pillar number 1 is the narrative shift. We have to change the title. We need to stop saying mechanic.
It does sound a bit retro, doesn't it? Like typist or switchboard operator.
It carries baggage. It implies simple manual repair. We need to start saying diagnostic technician or automotive systems engineer because, frankly, that is what they are doing. They are managing complex networks of sensors, LiDAR, radar.
LiDAR, that's
Yeah.
the laser scanning stuff used for self-driving cars, right?
Exactly. Light detection and ranging. It's incredibly sophisticated tech. If you tell a kid you're going to be a systems engineer calibrating LiDAR for autonomous vehicles, that sounds prestigious. It sounds like the future. Mechanic sounds like drudgery.
Words matter. Okay, so we changed the title. What's pillar 2?
Visual rebranding. We need to show laptops, not wrenches.
This makes so much sense. If you go to a trade school website today, what do you see?
Usually a guy covered in dirt holding a heavy tool.
Right. And if I'm a kid who loves gaming and building computers, I'm clicking away from that immediately.
Immediately. Marketing materials need to show clean, laboratory-like environments. Show the tablets. Show the diagnostic software interfaces. You have to appeal to the digital native who likes IT. You want them to look at the photo and think, oh, this looks like a tech job. Because it is a tech job.
It's software on wheels.
Yeah.
Okay, pillar 3. This one I found really interesting because it touches on status again. Rebranding the entry point.
Yes. The word apprentice. What do you think of when you hear that?
Honestly, yeah. I think of sweeping floors. I think of being the low man on the totem pole. I think of that show, The Apprentice. It feels like a contest you might lose.
Right. It implies you are just a helper. It implies low status. The suggestion here is to rename these entry programs to technical fellowships or paid mastery tracks.
Ooh, fellowship. That sounds like something you get at a prestigious university or a Silicon Valley startup.
It signals exclusivity and value. I earned a technical fellowship at BMW. That sounds incredible. It treats the training period like a medical residency or a high-level internship, not just learning the ropes.
Right.
It gives the student an identity they can brag about on Instagram.
I love that. It costs nothing to change the name, but it changes the entire vibe.
Yeah.
Okay, pillar 4. Recruit where they live.
This is huge, and I think this is where most recruiters fail. Don't just post on Indeed or Monster. You have to go to where the diagnostic minds are hanging out.
Which is where?
Gaming communities. PC building subreddits.
Connect the dots for me there.
Yeah.
Why gamers?
Well, think about the kid who builds their own gaming PC. They research the parts, GPU, CPU, cooling systems. They understand compatibility. And critically, when it doesn't boot up, what do?
They troubleshoot. They check connections. They run diagnostics. They figure it out.
That is the exact same part of the brain used for automotive diagnostics. It's system logic. We need to be on TikTok and YouTube leveraging influencers. There are guys like Chris Fix or Engineering Explained who have millions and millions of followers.
I've seen Chris Fix. He films everything from his own POV, right?
Yes, and he makes fixing a brake caliper or diagnosing a check engine light look like a quest. It's satisfying. It provides that ha-ha moment of solving a puzzle, which is exactly what gamers love.
So the pitch of the gamer is, you love optimizing systems. Come optimize this $100,000 machine.
Exactly. Bring your diagnostic mind to the real world.
Now, you mentioned a fifth element earlier regarding sustainability, and I feel like this is a massive hurdle. Gen Z cares deeply about the climate, and usually cars are seen as the enemy. Cars equal pollution. How do you get around that?
That's the sustainability hook. If the narrative is just keep the gas guzzler running, you lose Gen Z instantly. But the reframe is the circular economy.
How does that work for a technician?
Especially with EVs and hybrids, you aren't just swapping parts, you're part of the solution. You're maintaining battery efficiency. You're involved in remanufacturing and repurposing components so they don't end up in a landfill.
So the technician becomes, what? The guardian of the fleet.
The guardian of green mobility. If the cars aren't running efficiently, the environment suffers. You are the one keeping the fleet clean. You are the one ensuring the EV actually delivers on its promise.
That's a powerful pivot. You're not an environmental antagonist. You're the person making sure the green technology actually works.
Precisely. It gives the job a moral weight.
So let's unpack the big picture here. We started with this idea that this is a grease monkey job, a fallback for the non-academic. But what we found is that the automotive trade has quietly become this high-tech, high-paid global career.
It offers the freedom Gen Z says they want, travel, autonomy, financial solvency without the crushing debt they fear.
And the barrier isn't the job itself. It's the story we tell about the job.
That's the identity gap in a nutshell. The future belongs to the companies that can convince a 17-year-old that holding a diagnostic tablet is just as prestigious as holding a mouse in a cubicle. It's about pride.
It really is.
Yeah.
You know, we spend so much time telling kids to learn to code to secure their future. That's been the mantra for a decade. Learn Python, learn Java.
And look where that got us. Oversaturated markets.
Exactly. So I want to leave everyone with this thought, something to chew on. A modern car has 100 million lines of code. AI is getting really, really good at writing code. It can write software faster than we can. But AI cannot replace a sensor. It can't recalibrate a radar array in the rain. It cannot get its hands dirty.
Not yet, and not for a long, long time.
So when you really think about it, is the person with the wrench actually the only software engineer whose job is truly safe?
That is a fascinating question, and I think the answer just might be yes.
Something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the hidden world of automotive tech.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you next time.